Let's go. Why don't you just bring it to the table?
And now, presenting author, organizer, activist, and host, the woman who brings unity to our community, Angela C. Harden.
Blessings. We said blessings to you, and welcome to Bring It to the Table Real Talk with Angela C. Harden. Listen, I want you to fasten those seatbelts tight, because it's getting ready to go up and it's getting ready to go down right here on Bring It to the Table Real Talk. And I'm here with some very special guests. We are excited to have with us none other than Donna Colbreth. She is the principal at Sue Reynolds Elementary School and also an associate minister at Elam Baptist Church. Blessings. How are you?
Blessings. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good to have you. We also have a very dear friend of mine, been knowing him for a long time, Brother Millage Kyler. He is a well-known musician in our area, choir director, retired educator, and he has a lot of experience with church, y'all. Beulah Grove Baptist Church, Second Mount Moriah Baptist Church, Antioch Baptist Church, and Carpentersville Baptist Church. It's good to have you. Welcome. Awesome. And we also have none other than Dr. Nika Jackson of Jackson Counseling Services, LLC. And you do so much more. Blessings. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good to have you.
Great.
And then I am so honored to have at this table with us tonight my father in the ministry, my pastor, I tell you, my prayer partner, my teacher. He's been a blessing in my life for some 35 years, and I appreciate him so much. None other than Dr. Willie R. Rivers. He is the pastor and founder of First Day Spring Baptist Church. And again, I am honored that you guys are with me tonight. We're going to be talking about bullying. Actually, this month, October, is Bullying Month. And all month we've been talking about bullying. And, you know, it's interesting, I think, that we're bullying because as we talked about it and discussed it with our panel last week, it's a lot that goes into that word bullying. But I wanted to have some experts. And I look at you guys as being experts tonight. Later on, we're going to be talking with one of our local judges here in our city. But tonight, we're here with you guys, and we're talking about bullying. And because of what you all bring to the table, I look at you all as being our expert guest tonight. We have a principal who's going to be sharing some things about bullying that she brings to the table. We have Millage, who's going to be talking about bullying in the church. How many of you know we have bullying in the church?
Oh, amen.
And then, of course, we're going to have Dr. Jackson to talk about the psychological part of bullying. So let's go right into it. My thing is with bullying is that it seems like it's just a broad discussion, a broad meaning. So tell us, in your experience, how do you see bullying?
Well, in my experience, I see bullying, that title being given to a lot of things. The students will deal with situations and it could be a one-time occurrence, and the first thing they want to say is bullying. Parents get involved, and if that's happening to their child, they want to coin it bullying. So naturally, whenever, we have the conversations with the children and we go a little bit further, children are children. We get things, they're joking, they may be playing, they may be left out. Mm-hmm. And they think that, that's a form of bullying. And we encounter that a lot. I can't say that I've actually, after, investigating, once we go through the process, it ends up, because you have to have both sides of the story. Okay. And so through that process, we get both sides of the story. And then at the end, we realize that it's just children being children.
So everything that in the definition that we said is bullying is not necessarily bullying.
Not necessarily bullying. No, they get in an argument with a friend and they want to call that bullying. But we argue. we all argue. We have disagreements, whether it's in our homes, in our marriages, in our churches. We all have disagreements. We all argue. That's not bullying. We're having disagreements.
All right. Anybody want to weigh on what she just said?
Yes, I agree with Mrs. Colbreth. When you're attempting to establish the definition of bullying, you must establish a pervasive pattern of behavior.
Absolutely.
Now, each case should be looked at individually because there are youth and adults who get bullied because of their sexual preference, because of their disability, because of just various reasons, what church they attend. It depends.
Wow.
So you have to look at the context of each situation, and then you look into the types of bullying. We see digital bullying, or what we call cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying.
That's on a
Absolutely.
rise.
Yes.
I call that digital abuse, is what I like to call it. We have verbal bullying. We have emotional intimidation. There are
Social.
some forms where they are intentionally left out of certain groups. So what you have to look at are those effects on youth, because yes, children will be children, but you have some children who internalize that differently, and it manifests in certain behaviors such as increased depression, wanting to drop out of school, wanting to come into schools and do harm. We saw that in some of the school shooting. One factor that did exist in a lot of those was that they were youth who were bullied in the past. So each bullying or type of bullying has the ability to manifest itself differently depending on that youth or the person that's experiencing it.
And I know we talked about social bullying, verbal bullying, cyberbullying, but there's also physical bullying.
Physical bullying,
And it's not just among the children.
No.
It's, Reverend Rivers, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I want to say that I think bullying, being a bully, is defined kind of lack of not having kindness. In other words, it's absence of kindness.
Right.
It's absence of treating people in a way that you don't want to be treated.
Right.
And it goes in all realms of our lives, marriages, our home, and not only in the schools, not only with children, also.
So in marriages, you a husband can bully a wife, or a wife can bully a husband.
Exactly right.
Children can bully their parents.
right.
Parents can bully their. Isn't this amazing?
Yes.
And it's just that as the adults go older, the bullying changes its terms to harassment.
Harassment.
Domestic violence.
Yes.
Abuse.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's important to point out that many bullies themselves are victims of some form of trauma or
Wow.
bullying themselves. That we find that when you actually look at the person who is being bullied or who is doing the bullying, they're ones who have endured trauma, or they're going through some type of abuse.
We need to take a break.
Okay.
But we're going to come back because we didn't hear from Millage. I can't wait to hear what you got to say
Church.
about church bullying, because I don't believe it happens in the church. I just don't. I believe everybody's saved in the church. We'll be right back. Remember, it's Bring It to the Table Real Talk with Angela C. Harden.
You found your dream home. Now it's time to close. That's when you call Frails and Wilson. I'm Randy Frail. We have over 18 years of experience in real estate transactions. You do have a choice. Choose Frails and Wilson. We're in your neighborhood. We're here to help.
Blessings, welcome to Wallace & More, where you have Wallace and you can get a whole lot more.
We're located at 2416 Winston Spring Road in the old Fred's Plaza. Come see us for all your major prepaid service and devices, and we also have weekly plans every week.
You can also get a U-Haul here.
For real? Come see us at Wallace & More, where you get Wallace with a whole lot more.
We love our new home, and we did everything.
We found the lender, the realtor, and the closing attorney.
We closed with Frails and Wilson. They're knowledgeable and affordable.
Choose Frails and Wilson. We're in your neighborhood. We're here to help.
When we left for the break, we was just getting ready to go into church bullying. Millage, you got the flow.
Yes.
Oh, when we first talked about it, when we talked about the subject of bullying, and we mentioned the topic of church bullying. At first, I was embarrassed to have to say that it was really happening. Then I said, I've experienced it, and I've watched, and I'm still watching members in churches be bullied And most time it happens when I think there's a little jealousy of people's gifts. Like we got new people in the church, or as people roll into different churches, and people know what your gifts are. We kind of a little bothered, like you don't trample in on my zone.
My territory.
Yeah, on my,
Yeah.
because once when I stopped playing in the music ministry at Beulah Grove, and I went to other churches, I felt at home everywhere I went on staff, but there were always some people who made me feel the opposite. That like, you should have stayed where you were. You know, 'cause like,
What you doing over here?
Yeah, because we got this. And sometimes it would be little things like I would have to confess, admit, I felt there were times they were trying to make me look bad or put me on the spot, like I had to be real careful, but God would keep you on point.
Yes.
I love that. But some Sunday mornings, I would feel like I could feel that. I said, I know that I don't feel what I'm feeling. This bullying that somebody's trying to make me look bad on Sunday morning and Sunday worship. But God will always have me to be ready to be just on top of things. You know, like somebody at the last minute tell me about a song you think I don't know, but I got it.
All right.
And I just love my music. I just love music ministry.
Yes.
And but I watch now. I still watch people being bullied. When people want you to go, they play the game of, and especially if they know you're insecure about yourself. And I've been there where I was at points where I was insecure about who I was.
Okay.
But I thank
Real
God for
talk.
making me love me.
I want to go back to bullying because all of this is real good.
Exactly.
But is this bullying?
Right.
What is bullying and what is not bullying? So I want someone to give me a scenario or example of what bullying is and what bullying is not. Now, I know you said that a person, you know, they feel intimidated because now you're there, you're in there, you're in there, that position, and they want you gone. So some people gonna continually do things until you go to another church. So I think if they regularly doing things, and I think you brought that out, that can become bullying. But give me a definition of what or a scenario of what bullying is and what bullying is not.
So bullying is defined as a repetitive behavior or an intent to cause emotional, psychological pain. But the key to that is that it's repetitive. It occurs over and over again.
That's the key.
Right,
Yes.
that's the key.
So if something happens one time or two
And
times.
it may be a mistake. It may be someone using poor judgment, or it may be a good old-fashioned mean person.
And it may be how a person perceives.
Exactly.
Because our perception is so very important. You know, because sometimes we misunderstand things, you know, and we perceive it to be one way, but it could be another way.
Absolutely.
And I think God even talked about, you know, what's your intent?
Exactly.
The intent of the heart.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's very important.
And that's it. Our perception is our reality, but it's not always actuality.
That's right. That's good.
So, you know, that's
It might not
that's
always
my
be
key.
truth.
That's right.
It might not always
Yes.
be true. It's
That's
my
right.
reality.
Your reality.
That's what I'm
Yours.
seeing, but it may not be truth or actuality.
Right.
Wow.
That's good.
We have to take that into account.
All right.
Now,
You know,
spreading
and-
unwanted gossip or lies about someone intentionally is a form of bullying.
Yeah,
intentionally.
and especially
spreading
when
that.
it goes on and on through social
Exactly.
media,
Okay. Exactly.
through different outlets,
Or
you know,
even
from
We
one
need to take
person
a
to
break,
the
you
other.
guys.
Okay.
We got to take a break.
Alright.
You hold your thought, because I feel
She's
you.
going back to the
I'm
church.
going right back to you, because guess what? I want to ask the question when we come back.
All right.
Do pastors bully the members? That's all I want to ask.
Wow.
Y'all think about that.
I like
We'll be
that.
right back. Let's bring it to the table, Real Talk with Angela C. Harden.
You've been in a terrible accident. You spent weeks in the hospital. The insurance company's offering you barely covers your medical bills. I'm Edwin Wilson with Frails & Wilson. We cut through the personal injury red tape to get you the recovery you deserve. Tough problems need tough lawyers.
Blessings. I'm here with Rosalind at Roz Gifts and Flowers. And Roz, I want to ask you, what is it that make your events stand out and pop?
Well, I'm different and unique, and I was blessed with my hands by God. And also, we're willing here at Roscus and Flowers to work with any client with any budget.
Why don't you give them a call today?
Who gets custody? Who gets the home? Who gets the debt? I'm Kelly Spencer. Divorce and child custody can be traumatic. At Frales & Wilson, we have the experience to guide you through trying times. Tough problems need tough lawyers.
Blessings and welcome back to Bring It to the Table Real Talk. When we left for the break, I asked a question, a direct question. I need a direct answer. And I need y'all to bring it to the table, and I need it to be real. We're talking about bullying in the church. Does pastors bully? Don't get quiet now. Come on.
Well,
They scared, y'all. They scared.
some things you don't want to touch, right?
I think they are tasked with being direct and open, and some of those topics are uncomfortable. I know for me, being a member of a congregation, sometimes the pastors, they have a task to address things that are very direct. You know, it's raw, it's unedited. And sometimes, you know, there are certain people, not saying myself, we can perceive that as a little hostile, you know, as you know, it's being up close and personal. But when we look at what you all are tasked for, that is your charge to tell us when we're doing wrong. Who wants to hear when they're doing wrong?
One of the things I think pastors are not bullies because they give you constructive criticism.
Very good.
And one other thing about constructive criticism, you don't want to hear it. So I have to tell you when you're out of order.
That's it.
And that's the most important thing. It's not bullying, it's telling you you're out of order. And sometimes we have to reevaluate ourselves and see where we are.
Now, I asked y'all about pastors being the bully. What about the deacons and the other leaders in the church bullying the pastor? That's all I'm going to say. I know we out of time now. But we got to go. Thank you guys so much for being a part of Bring It to the Table Real Talk. You all brought some good information, something that's going to help a lot of those that are watching to apply some things and to make sure that we don't fall in those lines of bullying.
Yes. Amen.
All right. We had an opportunity to talk with one of our juvenile court judges, Judge Amanda Heath. I want you all to take a look at what she had to say about bullying. I'm now here with Judge Amanda Heath. She is the juvenile judge for Augusta Richmond County Juvenile Court. Blessings, and how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, welcome, welcome. We've been talking about bullying. And I wanted to ask you, you're a judge, I'm sure that you see a lot of cases, you witness a lot of different types of what we call bullying, but I wanted you to give us your definition of bullying.
Bullying, to me, is basically someone trying to exert power over another person through an abusive, coercive manner. When you're dealing with a person that we label as a bully, this is a person that is using their position, possibly, or their influence in a way to intimidate someone to comply in a way that to get them to do what they want done. And it's definitely something that's very detrimental, and it's something that we've definitely heard a lot about on the news, nationally and locally. So it's definitely a problem. It needs to be addressed, and something that our children are dealing with not only in person, but now there's a cyber version of the bullying going on, which makes it even easier for, let's say, to throw a rock and hide your hand, rather than back in the day, if there's an issue, you had the issue, you fought in the playground, and it was done. But now it's just going on and on and on with social media. We have a lot of that coming through the courts. So something we have to educate our kids about.
Yes. Do you see a lot of cases that comes through your court that's dealing with bullying, or is it more so other type of criminal acts or crimes?
I would say the majority of what we see are other criminal acts, but when you get to the fact pattern on, well, how did we get to the battery, the simple assault, terroristic threats, it sometimes does start at the schoolhouse. One child feeling some kind of way about something else, and then it escalates to the point of coming to court. I think a lot of it is actually dealt more in-house within the school system, and we kind of get the extreme versions of the bullying, but often more times than not, when the child is before the court and maybe they're admitting to the situation, and as mitigation, their defense attorney will share, well, judge, here's the background story. And it comes down to bullying.
Bullying. And you know, when we look at the definition of bullying, it's so broad. I mean, it's almost like everything is bullying now. They're calling everything bullying. What's your take on that? Is everything considered bullying? Name calling, you know, making someone feel uncomfortable, threats. And we know that is fighting. You know, we used to, you know, we would fight in the school, well, at home, in the playground, even at school sometime. But it wasn't called bullying in my days. But now we call everything bullying. What about sexual comments? They call that bullying now. There's so much that I think that kind of surrounds that word bullying. And when we say bullying, it makes it seem like it's a serious threat, because bullying is against the law.
And you know, it's such a hard, it's not going to be black and white, because at the core of bullying is the perception of the person. So even though we on the outside may say, well, if that was me, I wouldn't take it that way. But the bullying at its core is, what is the perception of that person? And so if that person feels intimidated or coerced or uncomfortable, as you described, it's going to fit that definition.
Wow. So it's all about perception.
Yes.
Now, I've never heard it like that.
It's all about perception of that person. So you can't even say, well, if it was me, or put yourself in their position, because we all have different backgrounds, we all have different experiences, but it's based off of that person.
And I know you all as a judge, and correct me if I'm wrong, you all don't necessarily make the laws, but you all, your position, when they come before your courts, you have to look at the facts, look at what's been presented, and then you make a judgment on that. Is that correct, or how do you?
That's correct. We do not deal with the laws, but we have to enforce the laws as they are written. And so a lot of times I'll get a lot of questions about that. Well, why is that happening, and why are you ruling this way or that? I'm like, you know, we don't get to decide what the law says. We're there to enforce it. So when there are things that the community sees that are issues with the law, you have to go to your legislators. Those are the people that hold the key to that piece.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I just want to share as well with the children is to be careful of your choices. Remember, when you make a choice, there are consequences, and you don't want to be in front of Judge Heath in the courtroom. You don't want to be in front of her, because that says that you've done something that deserves some punishment. And if you happen to get in front of her, we're going to ask for mercy.
That's right. Grace and mercy.
Grace and mercy. Thank you again. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. Blessings. I'm here with Rosalind at Roz Gifts and Flowers. And Roz, I want to ask you, what is it that make your events stand out and pop?
Well, I'm different and unique, and I was blessed with my hands by God. And also, we're willing here at Roz Gifts and Flowers to work with any client with any budget.
Why don't you give them a call today?
You just made a great choice. What are you gonna do now?
I don't know.
What? You gotta post this. Ain't that? Facebook right by is the only place to buy a car from. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
Right By Automotive Sales is taking over your city. We're doing car deals on wheels for real. Home of the guaranteed credit approval. Come on out where we treat you like family. It's all true at the Yellow and Blue.
Blessings and welcome back to Bring It to the Table Real Talk with Angela C. Harden.
Greetings.
We just heard from our judge, and she had some very interesting things to say about perception and also about her position as a judge. And that is, she does not make the laws, but she does enforce them. What's your take as we get ready to close out Bullying Month?
Pastors can be intimidating, and pastors have a job to do, and pastors do constructive criticism. But there are some pastors that use their position to bully people on a regular basis. And those pastors are bullies, and they shouldn't be. And then you brought up, there's some deacons who will bully the pastor. Some will send letters to him and tell him he needs to resign or she needs to resign. Wow. And so they try to bully the pastor because they feel that they have the power. And that type of bullying also needs to be addressed. Now, Mr. Brown there said I need to make sure that I say that all pastors don't bully, but it does happen in the church, and it's happened to me, so it is prevalent. Some pastors get comfortable with being control freaks, and they want to control everything that happens, not only from the offering, but what people wear, what they do in their home. I know a couple who broke up because the pastor bullied the husband, and he took time away from his wife, and they're divorced now.
Get down to the brass tacks. Simple is that the Bible says that God will give you pastors after his own heart. Now, if a pastor is that type of pastor, he ain't got to bully nobody. And he or she will not let anybody bully them. Because whatever happens, the pastor, the deacon, whoever it is surely going to have to give an account to him who called them.
When you think about it, it also says that a pastor has to be able to rule his household. If he can't rule his house, he can't rule the house of God. So that lets you know there is more to it than just standing up there expecting people to follow along. You all have children, so I'm sure you know a little bit about what it takes to be a parent in that little borderline where we as parents would be accused of being bullies just running our own household based on the definitions that we have been outlined here.
And just in case we got a bully that's been watching, hopefully,
awesome.
Hopefully, you'll change your mind about bullying and you would humble yourself. Remember, Dr. Rivers said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Right. Remember, bullying is against the law. Now receive this blessing. It goes like this. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up a countenance unto thee and give thee peace. Jehovah Shalom, peace. God bless you. And guess what? We love you.
God bless you.
Shalom.
God bless you.
Bring it to the table with Angela C. Harden. So whatever the problem is, just bring it to the table. Come on, why don't you just bring it to the table? Why don't you just bring it? Bring it to the table with Angela C. Harden. So whatever the problem is, just bring it to the table. It's real talk.